Dr. Sipes, do you think we should go ahead and get started?
I would say we can. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for becoming a Bearcat. We have a couple representatives here from Northwest Missouri State University that are here to kind of guide you through that process and answer your questions. If you would, just as kind of some protocol, when you're not talking, so that everybody in the room can hear the speakers, if you would mute yourselves. And there is a chat feature down at the bottom of the Zoom. If you have any questions, we will monitor that chat throughout the evening, so you can type your questions in there. Due to the fact that we have just a few people, then we'll probably let you jump on and ask your question to the experts here. So again, we want to thank everybody. And Mark, I'll turn it over to you and the Northwest people.
Yeah, well, Alyssa and Alyssa, what's your mother's name?
Monica.
Monica.
How are you doing? Well,
Thanks.
you are going to get every question you could potentially have answered tonight by the amazing group here in front of you. So I'll let each of them introduce themselves, and Mitzi or Eric, if you guys want to step out, you're welcome to. Alyssa's one of our Grow Your Own students. She's a junior at Staley High School, has fantastic grades. I'm going to take some dual credit courses next year, I believe, in college English and biology. Is that right?
Yes.
And so to kind of get a jump start, she's looking at special education and coming to main campus. So Alyssa, obviously, you know, Dr. Seeger and I, and you see the names all on the bunny. Those are our district folks that have been doing all of these different chats of what we're calling Parent University. This is our first attempt, and thank you, Northwest, for jumping in with both feet for us and trying this out, of getting on. But you'll be able to, I'll turn it over to them, let them introduce themselves, but they'll be able to talk to you about all kinds of wonderful things. And I would encourage you, ask any question you could potentially possibly think of, because you have students, recruiters, provost, and Northwest KC, both assistant director, and you know Dr. Seeger, one of the professors there, okay? All right, Dr. Johnson, I don't know if you would want to introduce yourself, or if you wanted to introduce your whole team.
I can introduce myself, then we'll let our team introduce themselves. They know themselves better than I know them. My name is Jay Johnson. I'm an associate provost for academic operations and development. I'm over all sorts of student support functions, the Northwest Kansas City Center, and we have dual credit that reports up through me, and some other things that you're going to take advantage of at the university. So very happy to have you on here tonight, and look forward to your questions. And we can go maybe into Amy and Tristan and Vicki, and then go around with the students. How about that? Okay.
Sounds good. Welcome to our session this evening. I'm Amy Washam. I'm the assistant director at Northwest Kansas City. And I did the little spirit fingers a minute ago because I coordinate dual credit for Northwest. So I always appreciate whenever students take opportunities of those advanced credits early. That's very smart of you. And even if it's probably with another institution, I do have to give you kudos for taking that jump start into college. So congrats. And I'll turn it over to Tristan.
Hello, I'm Tristan Mistretta. I'm an assistant director of admissions here at Northwest up in Maryville. We're getting a lot of snow right now, so I'm very jealous of the Kansas Cityans. But yeah, I kind of focus on recruiting in the Kansas City area. I also hit parts of like Kansas and anything south, so Springfield area as well. And it's help with overall recruiting. And yeah, that's me. I'll be the one kind of going over the presentation today and kind of moderating things. So I look forward to talking to you in here just a little bit.
And I already know Alyssa from Grow Your Own program. She participated with us last summer, and she'll take it again this summer for college credit if we get to have it. If not, she'll probably join us next summer. Dr. Moss and I talked to her this morning, and we had a wonderful chat. And hi to your mom, Alyssa. We met her at the high school one day last year. So Yeah, if you have any questions about the Kansas City program, you can contact me. But I think that Alyssa's pretty much sealed the deal that she's going to do special education.
All right, I'll go next. You guys kind of already know me, but I'm Madison Binda. My major is interactive digital media and new media. I also went to Staley. So yeah.
Hi, my name's Kate Turnage. I'm from Liberty, Missouri, and I'm a public relations major, and I'm in my sophomore year.
Okay, and I'm Carson. I'm from Smithville, so not too far, and I'm an early childhood special education major. So if you have any questions about that, lay them on me. And I'm a freshman, and yeah.
This
All right,
morning,
awesome.
this morning we talked about involving a special ed advisor the next time that we talk to Alyssa. So we'll be asking one of the members of that team to join us the next time we talk to her.
Very cool, very cool. I'm honestly very impressed. I think you're the most prepared student I have ever talked to. I've ever gotten to connect with. I'm very excited. I have just a brief presentation. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm a big fan of visuals. So I like to have like PowerPoint stuff like that, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I kind of have it structured in 4 different sections this evening. Going to talk about Northwest in very general terms. So we're located, stats of our population, and then jump into academics. For the academic side, I'll mostly focus on like placement rates, how we go about academics here at Northwest, internship opportunities. Then we'll jump into student life, so living on campus, student organizations, and then end with finances. So total cost of attendance, scholarships, and grants to help cut those costs down. Throughout the presentation, I have kind of like fixed in questions to ask our student representatives, just so you can kind of get an idea of what a Northwest student is like, especially with some of these things I'm going to talk about, just getting their perspectives on how that impacts their education, or how like Northwest has just impacted them in general. Again, if at any point you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll also have like a Q&A section at the very end. So feel free to hold on all the questions, drop them in the chat, whatever's easiest for you. So it's kind of jumping into Northwest. I'm not sure if you've made it to the Maryville campus before, but this is a picture of just our entire campus. It's probably my favorite picture overall, just because you can see everything in one photo. This eagle eye view just really allows you to see the beauty of our Northwest campus. My favorite thing is the trees. So we're actually a Missouri Arboretum, which makes it a very scenic route, especially in the fall with all the different colors. We actually dedicate a new planted tree to all the incoming freshman class every year, which is very exciting. So all of our Bearcats have their own tree here on campus. They kind of get to watch it grow throughout their 4 years, and then when they come back and visit us after graduation, they get to see it change. I will say this eagle eye view might make it look a little bigger than what it actually is. My freshman year, I lived in Milliken Hall, which is on the very edge of campus. And then I had all my classes in Volk, which is on the complete opposite end of campus. And even with living on the very edge, it was only about a 10 to 12 minute walk to my classes. So still very easy to get around. It's very compact. It's set up very user-friendly, which I appreciate. I'm sure all of our other students do as well. I'm kind of just jumping into our student population. Every year, we typically stay around 6,500 students. So we're like a small to a medium-sized institution. This year, we're at a pretty big bump to a little over 7,000, which is actually the 3rd largest population we've ever had, which is very exciting that we got to see growth this past year. Of those 7,000, about 1,200 are graduate students, while the remaining students are undergrads, so they're working on their bachelor's. And 67% are in-state students. So they're from the state of Missouri, which means the remaining 33% are out of state. So Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska are probably our big feeder states. We do have a handful from Texas, California. We have Bearcats representing 40 states and also 40 countries. So pretty diverse population that kind of allows you to get the cultural awareness experience, kind of meeting people you normally wouldn't meet, staying where you are. Our student to faculty ratio is about a 1 to 27, which is very exciting that you get to kind of have a personal relationship with your professors, which is actually going to be my first question to our student representatives. How would you say the size of Northwest has impacted not only your education, but your overall college experience?
I mean, I would say that it's like the perfect size just because I came from a little bit smaller school than Staley, but it's still enough people. Like I always say that in all of my classes, like especially in education, I'm gonna see people that I know. After like your first semester, I always recognize people, but then there's still new people, and so many new people to meet from all over. And kind of like he was saying, those connections, like one of my professors, I babysit her kids. So you just kind of build those connections so quickly and so easily. And that's something that's really awesome that they have in Northwest, just because it's a lot easier with a fewer amount of students.
I just think it's really great how you can get really one-on-one, like Carson said, attention from your professors. They're really great to go to during office hours, and every single professor that I've had, is really good about knowing students' names, especially if you're communicating with them. So that's really nice to get that extra one-on-one help with assignments and everything.
I would say for me, I kind of reiterate everything that they say. I definitely agree with all of it. But one thing that was really nice is coming from Staley, which is a bigger high school in Kansas City. It is a really similar class size. Most of my classes are a lot smaller at Northwest than they were at Staley. I know Staley's getting up on like the side of like 30 people per class. So in Northwest average is 27. So a lot of my classes are smaller than that, which is nice. I've had a class with 12 people before, so that was one thing that I really liked. Was it was a similar feel than what I was already used to. It wasn't like a big culture shock, like with a lot of people in one place.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. I know our students really appreciate getting to share their experiences with any prospective students, and I'm sure it's the same way the other way around. Just getting to hear not from what I consider myself as an adult, but someone who's actually still in school and just actually going through these experiences. So yeah, I'll have more questions that keep going, kind of keep prompting that discussion, so you guys can get a firsthand feel for what that looks like. Just kind of jumping into the academic side. I always recommend any student I reach out to that any university that you're considering, always ask for their placement rate. Essentially, the two main goals of going to college are to continue your education or to secure full-time employment, right? So that placement rate is going to show you how many of that university students actually went on to do that. So here at Northwest, we're very proud of our placement rate. Our placement rate is a 97%, which essentially means 97% of our graduates either continue their education or secure employment within 6 months of graduating. That is far above the national average, and we are so higher than the national average because we focus on something called profession-based learning. Essentially what that means is we understand that the classroom is an important aspect to your education, but we want to pair outside of the classroom experiences with your education so that you can get that experience hands-on in your field. So whether it's a job shadow, a field study, or a full-blown internship, our Office of Career Services works to help find those opportunities with you to again give you that opportunity outside that class. And they also do multiple programming sessions throughout the semester, things like mock interview, where you get to have a practice interview and they give you like hands-on feedback, how you represented yourself, some grows and pros, as well as doing internships, as well as having speed networking, which is almost like speed dating, but you're just kind of learning how to have those short, small conversations with future employers. They call it the elevator pitch. So they don't just kind of throw you out to the wolves. They help you find your way throughout that whole employment search. And they're not only here for you when you're a student, but also after you even graduate. So you have a lot of alumni that still partner with our career services office if they're wanting to change their employment or just seek new opportunities that are out there. So that leads me to my second question to our students. What would you say, as from the student perspective, is the pros of the profession-based learning that Northwest focuses on?
I mean, I can really speak to this on the education side of it. If you're like really set on that, like from the first semester coming in, I was out of my own classroom into someone else's classroom. I was doing observations in the basement of our education hall, which is the Horseman Lab School. So it's a full functioning K-6 elementary school, which is really cool. So they want you to go in and do observations like immediately within the first few months I was there. And then we were also in surrounding schools, Maryville, St. Joe, this semester, last semester, just immediately. So getting those hands-on opportunities to see not just hear about what you should be doing as a teacher, but getting to see it and put into place is very amazing. And not many other schools let you do that like right away in your first semester. So definitely can speak to that for Northwest.
So for me, being a media student, all of our classes are very based on hands-on learning, whether it's, with a camera or you're on a computer designing something. But another thing is that I love about Northwest is their internship opportunities. So this next year I'll actually be an intern with Northwest Athletics. So I'm able to have an internship while being on campus, which is really nice. So I don't have to like commute or anything. And then I get that credit from it too. So that's good for me because I want to work in the sports industry. So being able to do something on campus is really nice.
Just to add on to what Maddie said, the internship opportunities are really encouraged at Northwest. I'm in communication, and we're required to do an internship, which I'll be doing next summer. So that's really great. And there's also a lot of speakers that come to our classes and talk about what they actually do in their careers and give us suggestions and ideas for what we can do as well.
To kind of add on to that, what I was saying, also with the education, once you're done with that first semester and first year, there is an entire office completely dedicated to student teaching. So you'll either spend a semester or a year doing student teaching, and that is very, like, that whole office is just dedicated to helping students find the placement and the good place for them to go do that. And then that obviously helps you find a job after with that experience.
I will say specifically to our education department, Northwest opened in 1905 as a teacher's college. So we've been creating educators for well over 100 years. So that's what we're actually known for, is creating educators. So our education program actually has a 100% placement rate. So that means 100% of our education graduates within 6 months of graduation either go on to get their master's in education or become a teacher fully employed. So we're very proud of that as well. Those hands-on experiences that our students just touched on. Another stat I always recommend asking any university you're speaking with is their freshman retention rate. That's going to show you is how many of their students came to that institution for their first full year and then stayed at that same institution to continue their education. So essentially, they feel connected to campus, so they have the resources to be successful, where all the costs of higher education transparent to them that allowed them to plan accordingly to pay for that. So here at Northwest, our freshman retention rate is a 78.66, far above the average again, which we're very proud of. Ours is so high just because of the holistic approach we take to student success here at Northwest. So before you even come to Northwest for classes this summer, you go through something called Summer Orientation Registration, what we call SOAR. Essentially, it's a day for you to come up here. You and your family spend the day up here with us. You actually spend the day with your department, so meeting your professors, your academic advisor, as well as your peers. And you also leave that day with your first semester schedule in hand, so you know exactly what classes you're taking and when, which is just really nice to know before you come here. And then your family kind of spends the day learning about Northwest. So how we educate, why we educate that way, looking at financial aid, employment opportunities, stuff like that. And then your first semester, you also go through something called Freshman Seminar, which is almost just like College 101. It's a course that's purely dedicated to showing you what departments we have here at Northwest to make you successful. So at Northwest, we have the Student Success Center, which is almost like our pride and joy. I greatly appreciate it as a student, and I'm sure our students can talk about it here in just a little bit. But with the Student Success Center, essentially we include tutoring in your tuition, as well as supplemental instruction, even a writing center to kind of help you with any writing projects you may have during your courses. That's completely all in your tuition, which is really nice. And then after that, we have different academic support resources, academic recovery. We also have a doctors and counselor center on campus that's included in your tuition. So we kind of just want to give our students all the resources they need to be successful and a well-rounded individual. So again, I have a question for my student representatives. Was the Student Success Center something that you took like immediate advantage of as a student, or it's something you kind of slowly went into?
I definitely utilize the Student Success Center, even going into my freshman year, because there's those general education courses that, maybe you have strengths and weaknesses in different areas. And it's just really great to get that additional help through SI sessions, preparing for tests, or even going to one-on-one tutoring to get help with certain concepts that you're unsure of. It's just, you don't have to be doing poorly in a course to even go. It's just to get that additional one-on-one help, and it's really, really great.
So I came in with a lot of my gen eds done because of how much dual credit I had in high school. So I didn't need Student Success Center a lot for like tutoring or SI sessions. But I was a peer advisor for freshman seminar kind of through their office. And that was a really good experience. And also going through freshman seminar was really great to learn everything, and then to turn around and be able to teach it to the next group of freshmen was really fun too. So it's kind of a nice opportunity that you have as a student to connect with like the next students, which is really nice.
Yeah, I would say I didn't take as much or take like one-on-one tutoring opportunity as much as I should have. Now, like thinking about it, especially doing online, I kind of wish that I had for some of them. But those SI sessions where it's a student who's taken the class before and comes and teaches it again and goes over material with you in another way is really nice. And the fact that you don't have to pay for it or anything is amazing, and it's right on campus, so might as well.
I'll also say, because I mentioned it earlier, is that our Student Success Center is a great hub for student employment opportunity. So all those supplemental instructors, all those tutors that we're mentioning, and the students that work in the Writing Center, those are actually paid positions for them. So I will say, like, a good portion of them might be education students because they already have that gift, that passion for teaching others. So that's an awesome hands-on experience for you, because you mentioned you want to go into education, where if you are wanting a job, do something that you enjoy doing while also making a paycheck is always a plus. And then I'm actually going to turn it over just really quickly to Amy so she can briefly talk about our Northwest Kansas City campus.
Hi, thank you so much. I know that sometimes we have things in our lives that aren't allowing us maybe to move away to the Maryville campus. And so in Northwest Kansas City, we want to provide a local opportunity to still achieve that high quality, rigorous Northwest education. And so what I wanted to just briefly touch on this evening is that we do have some very strong relationships with Metropolitan Community College of Kansas City. So we try our very, very hardest to make a very seamless transfer for students that want to take some of those first 2 years of courses with MCEC, and then they transfer to us for the last 2 years. We do have a variety of majors. We're always continuing to expand upon those, but currently we do have elementary education. I do know that there has been discussions if there's an opportunity for special education in the future, so we're kind of working on that at the moment. We have business management, marketing, management information systems, human services, communication, PR, org behavior, HR management, psychology, and then we have a BAS program, which is a Bachelor of Applied Science for folks that have a technical degree from a community college but wish to go on and finish up a 4-year degree. On the screen, you'll note the Fast Tracks logo. That is a co-enrollment program that students are taking advantage of. They enroll at Metropolitan Community College as well as with us at the same time. They can achieve half or more than half of their semester's worth of classes at MCC, and they could take a class or two with us, and we'll actually grant them the PAWS scholarship, which reduces the Northwest tuition rate down closer to the community college rate. So just wanted to highlight a couple opportunities if the move is not something that is for you particularly, and we would love to serve you. And I'll turn it back over to Tristan.
Awesome, thank you, Amy. All right, we're gonna jump into the fun discussion of student life. So again, just living on campus, how to get involved. So the first thing I wanna mention is that Northwest has over 200 student organizations. Really cool thing is that we have departmental organizations. We have a lot in education, obviously, since we've been, one of our main focuses is education. It's one of our biggest departments. So a lot of different opportunities for those departments to bring in guest speakers. You kind of get to learn firsthand from their experiences, from their profession, stuff like that. We also have just fun social groups. So we have a movie club on campus, anime club, a video game club. We have intramural sports. So if you're currently playing a sport and are unsure if you want to continue on the collegiate level, intramurals is always a fun way to continue that. So whether it's basketball, we have golf, just really anything to help you get involved on campus. Really cool thing is that if we want something and we don't have it, we actually make it very easy to start your own organization. So all it takes is 5 student signatures as well as a faculty advisor, and you just start your own organization. We make that so easy because we want all of our students to feel not only connected to campus and their peers, but also make sure that you all feel that you're making a positive impact to the Bearcat community as well. So Northwest is also your place to be fit and whatever that means to you. So if that means waking up at 5 a.m., chugging a kale smoothie and going on a 5K, I'm very happy for you. I'll support you from afar, I promise. But with that, we have multiple facilities for our students to continue that lifestyle. So whether it's sand volleyball court, we have 3 facilities for our students to utilize that, as well as a fully loaded gym that has exercise equipment, free weights, weight machines, personal training, group exercise classes, really anything you can think of, as well as our brand new facility called Hughes Fieldhouse, which you can see right there on the right. Essentially, it's an indoor track field and turf, and all of this is already included in our students' tuition. So essentially, with that gym, all you have to do is sign the waiver, and you're free to go and work out. The Hughes Fieldhouse, all you have to do is bring your Bearcat card, and you're good to hang out. In the volleyball court, just bring a volleyball and you're good to come hang out. We try to make it as easy as possible for our students to keep that healthy lifestyle. Also including your tuition, we throw in all of our athletic events, all of our guest speakers, as well as our musical and theatrical performances. So essentially just print off your ticket and show up and cheer on our Bearcats and just support everyone. With living on campus, we do require our first-year students to live on campus unless you live 60 miles from our Maryville campus. So with that, we do have multiple different residence hall options. So we have the high-rise residence hall, which you can see there at the bottom left. Essentially, it's more of our traditional housing. And then the other option, what we call Hudson and Perrin Residence Hall, which is more of a pod style living, which essentially means there's more like privacy. So how that building is set up is it's almost like a longer hallway with a bunch of small hallways branching off of it. We call those small hallways pods, and each pod typically has about 6 to 8 rooms, and they share a bathroom together. That bathroom has about 4 facilities, 4 sinks, and 4 showers. So it's a different kind of living style. I will say Hudson and Perrin is by far our most popular option. It's also our most expensive, so keep that in mind as well. We also have what are called academic living and learning communities. So if you follow one of those departments listed at the top, you can actually live in what's a residence hall that's dedicated to your program. So essentially everyone on your floor is in your department, and we even try to make your roommate the same major as you. That allows us to put you on the same classes, helps you kind of build study groups early on. It also allows the department to come with guest speakers, fun social events, and just different kinds of activities for you in-house. These are just options for you. So if you're like a business student, you're not required to live on this floor. It's just an opportunity for you to do so. We're going to jump into costs, and we are just about done, I promise. So really cool thing that I always recommend students ask again is that rather than asking for a university's tuition and fees, always ask their cost of attendance. The cost of attendance is going to show you a holistic cost to actually attend that university. That's going to include tuition and fees, as well as like housing, meal plans, as well as any other expenses. So for Missouri residents, you're right there on the left side, and for non-residents, so out-of-state students, you're on the right. Essentially, for our in-state students, it's about $19,800 cost of attendance for your full year. That includes our most expensive housing, so Hudson and Perrin, our silver meal plan, as well as your tuition and fees, taking roughly 30 credit hours a year. I've already touched on most of them about what all is included in your tuition and fees, but I'm gonna go ahead and revisit that list and add a couple to it. So again, we include all those rec centers, our tutoring center, our student success center, our doctors and counselor center. It also includes a laptop as well as your textbooks. So Northwest also provides those resources to our students. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in detail here in just a little bit. But I always like to talk about costs first. That way when I bring up these scholarships here just a little bit, you can see how much of an impact those actually have towards the total cost of attendance here at Northwest. But first I want to ask our students just a really quick question of how much of a factor was cost when it came to looking at different universities, and how did Northwest play in your decision to come here?
So for me, that was kind of a bigger thing. I went in toward Mizzou, I think my sophomore year, and I came home all excited about it. And my mom, she looks up the cost of attendance, and it was about double what Northwest was. And I was like, ooh, that's a lot. So that was kind of a big thing for me. And then after I saw how much Northwest was and the scholarships that I got, I liked that number a lot better. And you can see where I ended up, so.
I agree with Maddie. Yeah, the price of some other state schools was definitely a lot more in comparison, and it just seemed really affordable. And I could tell, there were a lot of opportunities for scholarships, so that was another plus. So, yeah.
Complete honesty, I kind of knew that I was going to be paying a lot of money no matter where I went. But obviously this was very good thinking about the long run and student loans because I knew that my family was going to have to take them out no matter where I went. But this is really good. And then knowing that I was going to get all of my textbooks and laptops included in that price was definitely the big thing for me as far as like tuition and costs. So.
All right, and one thing that Northwest does that I absolutely love is that we offer an A+ scholarship. So for our Missouri residents that are in the A+ program and complete all those requirements at graduation, since Northwest is a 4-year university, we can't accept A+ funds, but we still want to commemorate that achievement because we know it's a lot of extra work that you students are doing on top of your normal classwork. So we offer $1,500 for your first 2 years. So you're looking at $750 for 4 semesters, which is a pretty big dent, especially just to start out with. And then one thing I also want to mention is that Northwest is a super score university. So when it comes to the ACT, I always recommend students take it at least twice. Studies show you do way better your second time around because the nerves are gone, you know what to expect, that kind of thing. But I also mention it because we are this super score university. Essentially what that means is instead of taking your highest composite score overall, we actually ask you to send us all your ACT scores so that we can look at your sub scores. What we do is we take the highest sub score from each category to make you the highest composite score possible. So essentially, if you, let's say you took it twice, the first time you did really well on math and science, and you took it again, did really well on reading and English, we take those 4 sub scores to again make you the highest composite score. That helps a lot of our students out when it comes to our automatic merit-based scholarships. So essentially what we do at Northwest is when you apply, we look at your ACT super score, we pair it with your GPA, and wherever those 2 numbers meet on this chart is a scholarship you're going to automatically receive. These scholarships are renewable all 4 years and stackable with all other scholarships that we offer as well. And again, I want to revisit that super score really briefly because let's say you're currently a junior, and so your application actually opens this July. You can go ahead and apply with the ACT score you currently have. And then since we are the super score university, we actually continue to accept updated ACT scores. So if you apply your your senior year, let's say in October, and you took it again in December, if you send us that updated score, we will automatically update all your scholarship information for you. We make it as easy as possible. And then for our out-of-state, we also have multicultural scholarships, same kind of concept. ACT, super score, GPA, stackable, and renewable all 4 years. So there's another quick question for our students. I asked you how much of a factor cost was, but how much of a factor was scholarships to finding where you wanted to continue your education? How did Northwest, again, play in that decision?
So for me, when I went to Mizzou, they didn't really talk about scholarships on their tour. So honestly, I don't even know what I would have qualified for there. But I knew that I qualified for quite a bit when I went to Northwest. So that was something that was really good when I went on my tour.
Just knowing that they had a lower number of students, so they had a lot more scholarships available to give out, and I did get more money from Northwest with my grades for scholarships, which was really nice than some of the other schools that I looked at. So and that A+, I had that as well, so that was a really awesome opportunity. So yeah, it was pretty good for me too.
Yeah, it's really great that they honor A+. That's a lot of things a lot of universities may not consider. And another really great thing is the super score. That definitely was to my advantage, and that helped me to receive some more scholarship than I would have at other places.
All right, and I briefly mentioned this just a little bit ago, but I want to spend just a little bit more time on it because it's a really sweet deal. Northwest, when you're a Bearcat, we give you a fully loaded and insured laptop while you're a student. Fully loaded essentially means it has all the software you'll need on it to be successful here, and then fully insured This essentially means that if anything happens to it while you have it, you can take it to our laptop office, and if they can't fix it in 10 minutes, they just give you a new one. So very quick, it's an awesome tool for our students. And then that picture on the right there is a pretty good visual of what the first weekend at Northwest looks like before classes. You walk into our student station, and there are a bunch of brown Hy-Vee grocery bags. You find the grocery bag with your student ID on it, and that bag will have your textbooks in it. You can write, you can highlight in these textbooks, whatever you needed to do to be successful. At the end of the semester, you just turn it back in almost like a library. Unless you get one and someone thought the entire book was important, and so it's just painted in yellow highlighter, you can take it to our textbook office and they can switch it out for you. So very easy again. I do have some students that ask me how much are textbooks of my tuition. So you say it's in my tuition, but how much of my tuition is it? Which is an amazing question. So for our textbook rental program, it's about $7 a credit hour, and each of our classes are roughly 3 credits. So that makes renting a textbook about 21 bucks, which is even far cheaper than renting it from a third party, and especially going out and buying those. So my last built-in question for my students is how much of an impact did having these resources given to you, how much of an impact was that to your education?
So I would say it's really nice having the textbooks, because I know for me, I don't always use the textbook as I should in some classes, and some classes don't use it very much. So then I didn't feel quite as bad that I didn't buy $100 book and then not use it. So that was really nice. And then also just having it there and having the laptop as well is really nice, because it's something that you don't really have to worry about, don't have to go and spend all your graduation money on. So that's really nice.
Go ahead, Kate.
Yeah, it was a really great resource to already have those textbooks there for me. I have an older brother that went to another university, and seeing his struggle trying to find his textbooks and resources he needed, that was a thing that definitely made me nervous going into my freshman year. And college students have so much to worry about as it is, that was just one less thing I had to worry about. So
Yeah, just kind of reinforcing what they both said. Both my parents went to huge universities and knew that they paid a lot of money for those textbooks, so having it just accessible right there. And I've definitely been using them a lot right now with online stuff, so that's been really nice, just having them just so accessible and not have to worry about them pay hundreds of dollars for books every semester. And then the laptop, I mean, that's what I'm on right now, just having that without having to like Maddie said, spend my graduation money on another computer is really nice.
Awesome. All right, so I think we are ready for the question and answer part of the evening. So if you have any questions right off the bat, feel free to shoot them out, and we'll direct them wherever they need to go. If there are any questions, we might have done an amazing job and we answered all of them already.
You did.
This is for our students. One of the things that, and realize this was a long time ago, but when I was there, a couple of my friends, and I shared in the chat that I went to Smithville, and it was much smaller than the Smithville you went to, Carson. I graduated with 71 kids. So one of the things that I found when I went there, and my friends from, like you were talking about, Tristan, from Omaha, Des Moines, and even Kansas City, it was a big change going from a city to Maryville. Can you guys just share with Alyssa, because that's going to be her reality, how was that change? What were the positives and what were the challenges? The biggest challenge for the friends that when I was there was only one movie theater.
I mean, I guess for me, the challenges, I just like going out to eat a lot, and I love trying a lot of new places, especially in downtown Kansas City, we have so many cool restaurants. But Maryville has a lot of their sit down restaurants that are amazing, and so kind of getting to try that, it's a good thing that I missed, but a good thing from Maryville, just that they have a lot of different restaurants with a lot of different styles of food, so that was nice. I still get to do all that. And it's honestly Kansas City. I mean, from home, it's an hour, 15-minute drive. Into Kansas City, it's an hour and a half. So, like weekend drives with my friends are something that we can do. Like whenever Northwest played Pitt State at Arrowhead, a couple of my friends came and stayed with me. And then after the game, we went to downtown and I got to show them the areas that they'd never been to. So that was fun. Just a good distance that you can like still go to that city all the time too.
For me, like as much as I love Kansas City, like definitely right now, I'm missing Maryville. It's just like the small town atmosphere of it, and having your friends just like so close. You know, you can kind of get anywhere in Maryville in about 10 minutes. So that's something that I definitely miss. Also, something that I had to get used to was, you know, there's only Walmart and Hy-Vee, so I'm a big Target person. So kind of had to get used to that, learn how to grocery shop and all that. So that was something I had to get used to. But the nice thing about Maryville is that there's a lot of like hole in the wall places, I guess you would say. Senior Burrito was one of my favorites if you're missing Chipotle. So it's kind of, you can find those things to kind of fill those voids, which is nice.
Maryville really is the cutest little town. I just liked it from the moment that I toured. I think it has a certain charm about it. It definitely is different. But something that's been nice as a student is that I do feel like I'm in my own college bubble, as you might call it. And it's nice to be away from maybe some things at home that might be a distraction. It just kind of feels like you're there with your university, all of you together as a student population. So that definitely is a pro there.
Yeah, and kind of going off that, Maryville is just so supportive of the college. Like, I don't think you can really go anywhere, whether it's a restaurant, Hy-Vee, Walmart, like stores, anywhere that they don't have a college student working. They want college students. They love supporting us as much as we love, you know, the town and going there. So that's a really big thing too. Just as much as, I mean, you know, you go everywhere in Maryville. So they're very supportive of us and want us to succeed as well, which is really awesome.
Alyssa or Monica, do you guys have any questions?
I don't. It's just you guys obviously have upgraded a few things since I went.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I was like, where was all that? I missed out. It was good as it was. And now you guys offer a lot more than what you already did. So, I mean, all those extras are just more bonus to why I went. I mean, immediately it was the friendliest campus when I toured there, because I toured like KU, K-State, Emporia, and I just was blown away with how friendly it was on campus. All the people spoke who didn't even, you know, and I felt like I was such a little kid compared to how, you know, big college students were and that kind of thing. And just, I love the town, the atmosphere, and it is all that. It's a nice place to be.
I have to give a shout out to Mark. I think the movie theater has improved since you and I were there.
Well, the hangar is definitely an improvement from what it was. But they were like,
Yes. I went to my first movie at the hangar, I think it was like last spring. And nice thing is I think it's cheaper than movie theaters in Kansas City, and it's still pretty nice. They got like the recliner seats and everything. So, and when we went, we were the only people in the movie theater, so it was actually really nice.
yeah.
They still have the restaurant out front. I don't know if that's like a thing that they still serve food at all at the hangar. No. That was like way, way back.
Well, Alyssa and Monica, if you guys don't have any questions, guys, thank you so much for putting this together. I've been texting with Amy a little bit, and I'm going to figure out our best way to advertise this because I think this was amazing.
I agree.
So informative, so great. But I got to learn a whole bunch, and I have 2 degrees from there. I didn't think I was that disconnected.
Same. No, it was great.
Yeah, I will figure out a way. And Amy, thank you for recording. We may certainly share the presentation part, Tristan, and the responses from the students out with more of our students, and maybe a lunchtime chat. We've had some seniors get on during lunchtime, but really appreciate it, guys. This was amazing, so informative. Thank you for setting it up, and just can't say thank you enough. So very appreciative of time.
Yeah, I can't imagine another school doing anything quite like this.
Yeah. It was great. Great job,
Well
Kristen, putting this together, and students.
Thank you guys.
Dr.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Johnson,
This is awesome.
Dr. Seeger, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Guys, thank you. Have a great night.
Good.
See you this Washington.
Bye.